Hello, Brawlers! How are you all doing? How was your Yuletide season? Now, I know some new videos have come out since 2023, but this is the first one that I'm actually recording in 2023. So I wanted to ask you, if you celebrated Christmas, how was it? I hope you had a beautiful time with your family. If you celebrated Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, if you celebrated the New Year's on December 31st, I hope you had a lot of fun. But most importantly, whether we are already, I know, in January, I hope you are having an amazing start to 2023. You are starting the year with a bang. I am super excited for everything to come and the ways in which we are gonna grow this year. And today I am super excited also because I will be talking to you about an amazing epic hero, Brawlers. It is the greatest female warrior in China, MULAN. MULAN's story is based on female strength. She is an incredible female warrior and a daughter who would do anything to save her father. Now, most of us, if not all, know the Disney movie story of MULAN. However, her original story has some details that the movie doesn't. So keep watching and let's learn more about her life to see what new things we can catch. MULAN is a well-known heroine in China because she cared deeply about the national crisis, so much so that she spent 12 years in war. She did everything to protect her family, and she proved that women could be as strong as men. Yeah, her story is recounted in the Ballad of MULAN, a folk song in the Northern and Southern dynasties, which were basically from 386 to 581. And now this folk song is a must-read poem for all middle school children in China. Basically, all children learn the Ballad of MULAN, so this shows that she is still valued and looked up to today. Really dope, MULAN. According to the Ballad of MULAN, MULAN was born in 412 AD. This was during the Northern Wei dynasty. Now her father, called HUA, was a retired battalion captain, an amazing battalion captain. And MULAN was the oldest of 3 children. Her brother and her sister were very young, and MULAN's parents were well advanced in years. Now, to increase MULAN's courage, MULAN's dad taught her martial arts and weapons practice since she was a child. Everything such as riding, arrow shooting, swords play, and her military talents kept growing and growing as she got older. But her life took a turn when the Huns invaded China during the Han Dynasty. To protect the country, the empire issued a conscription order. Now, MULAN's father, being the only adult male in the family, was listed to go fight in the war. But MULAN, knowing that her father was old and just being extremely elderly and weaker than he was before, feared that if he went and fulfilled his military service, his life could end. So MULAN decided that she would disguise herself as a man and replace her father, take his identity, and go fight in the war. Wow, so valiant. Yes, she thought that she had been trained her whole life in martial arts and all these weapons practice, so she was confident that she could perform well on the battlefield, and so her plan began. MULAN called Xiahuan, the family servant, to assist her in doing all the preparations needed to go into battle. She would need an armor, weapons, and a horse. MULAN also spent some time practicing the spear and remembering and repracticing and perfectioning all her other skills. And when the time came, she went to address her parents to let them know of her departure. Now, when Mulan's mother heard of her plan, she wept and refused to allow her to go, to spend years eating, sleeping, and fighting in battle alongside men was just inappropriate and extremely dangerous. But when it was revealed that not only was Mulan's father extremely sick, but he had fallen into a severe depression since receiving his conscription notice, so much so that he attempted to take his own life, Mulan's mom acquiesced and they all did a toast and tearfully wished the best to Mulan on her journey. Mulan was very homesick, but nonetheless, she was determined. With time, some of the soldiers started noticing that Mulan, they're known as HUA, was a very talented soldier. And once they reached the capital, the Supreme Commander, Xi Jinping, had also noticed that Mulan was extremely talented, and when he stood in front of the newly enlisted men, he told Mulan that he would give her an amazing reward if she went to the front of the army and captured the bandit leader. And so did Mulan. Brave, strong, and amazing. The Supreme Commander returned to the king and reported that Leopard Skin, aka the bandit leader, had been captured thanks to HUA's military prowess. Because of this, the king was deeply impressed that Mulan was offered a prominent position in return for her meritorious service. Wow! And reward and an offer by the king, this shows how talented, courageous, and respected Mulan was. Now, she was told that she could actually return home for 3 months before she would officially take up her new duties and position. However, Mulan requested that instead she were to be allowed to just return home and take care of her old and feeble parents until they passed, and that she would do this with the promise of then in an official capacity taking on the duties that she was being offered. Now, her request was granted. Now, after having declined this promotion, she went back home, and back in Hebei, her parents had been discussing with the son of Wang Gixen. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing these things wrong, I'm trying my best, but Mandarin is hard. Anyhow, Wang Gixen's son, which was a prominent scholar who had never been named, had heard of Mulan's loyal act of taking her father's place in battle and going to war. Yeah, and when he heard this, he had promised and vowed to marry Mulan when she returned, even if he had to wait many years. So when Mulan came back, she reunited with her family, she resumed her feminine appearance, and later she ended up getting married to this man's son. Now, this part of the story is kind of funny. When the wedding celebrations came, everyone was extremely excited to see the couples bow to one another as it is a traditional custom there. However, Mulan stood erect and blushed. Her mother chided, "You fearlessly commanded an army of men for 12 years. How can you suddenly become bashful?" LOL, and everyone laughed. So ironic, right? Wow. And now, how the Disney stories go, they lived happily ever after. What an interesting character, women empowerment at its finest. And now the question is, will this translate in the Eternal Brawl game? Let's check out Mulan's skills. In the Eternal Brawl game, Mulan has a comprehensive ability score of 79 with an attack mode of 80 and a defense skill of 70. Now she has an explosive force of 79 with a control level of 47 and a support mode of 30. really cool. With her unique life story and all these skills, Mulan will be an amazing character to play with. So how did you find HUA Mulan, Brawlers? If you were in the same situation, would you have done the same? Would you have taken the place of your ailing father and gone to war? Wow, really compassionate, courageous, and kind of her. Now, Brawlers, remember that you can check all of these characters in the Eternal Brawl website, eternalbrawl.io. And for all the amazing stories, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm gonna keep sharing these amazing stories. And also follow us on Twitter, Telegram, Discord, Instagram, so you can stay updated with everything on this amazing metaverse. I can't wait to keep sharing, and without further ado, stay cool, Brawlers!